Look, hate is a strong word. Unless it's being used against Lewis Hamilton, apparently. That guy has beef with everyone. Fellow drivers, coaches, media, fans, you name it. It's no surprise that he's earned quite a bit of a reputation in F1, and we're going to tell you all about it in this video. Before we get into it, please do give us a like and subscribe. That way you'll be the first of your friends to know when the hot Formula 1 news breaks. If you're a true racing fan, then you know. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's start with the arrogance. The sudden rise of Sir Lewis Hamilton was nothing out of the ordinary. In fact, it was anticipated, given his background and his performance in the smaller Formula Series. His accomplishments reveal a story of dominance of the first proper Formula 1 driver of this decade. None of Red Bull's drivers achieved as much fame and fortune as this guy. So, did it all go to his head? Hamilton was given one of the greatest seats in Formula 1, but didn't appear to recognise who he was racing next to or against. Critics argue that the 22-year-old rookie may have been better suited for a test role to learn the ropes, and De La Rosa deserved that seat but didn't get it. And what about the whining? Excuse me, Sir Lewis, but you should have understood what you were getting into when you pulled in aside Alonso at the Belgian Grand Prix and engaged in a wheel-to-wheel battle. Was it what Ron first predicted would happen to you? Or did he just make any necessary adjustments to your rose-tinted lenses before the race? His first season was nothing but mistakes that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. By now, Lewis has accomplished everything that the Formula 1 sport has put out there. Possibly the best racer the world has ever seen. He's a 7-time world champion. He's got the most wins, most poles, most points, and everything else there is to offer in F1. His enormous success made him famous all over the world, and yet he seems to be disliked. It makes you think, right? It brings to mind Cristiano Ronaldo's famous line, "Maybe they hate me because I'm too good." Or maybe they both share that same arrogant athlete gene. Now, Lewis's off-track conduct in the years at McLaren irritated most fans. Like when he'd lose to Button and was particularly prone to crashes, but still maintained that he was the best driver alive. Ego much? Throwback to the time he said, "I don't have anything to learn," whilst he was the one driving a world-class car poorly. So, what do F1 drivers think of him? A great way to find out how someone is to ask what people around them think. And well, it checks out. According to Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton doesn't interact with any of the other F1 drivers. Button acknowledges that he doesn't know him really well, despite having worked with him for 3 years as a McLaren teammate. In fact, Button even said that he doesn't believe any other drivers truly know Sir Lewis either. Can you believe that? Actually, we can. If you remember the drivers' parade in Abu Dhabi, Hamilton stood out by sitting at the front of the truck, away from the other drivers who were mixed with the crowd. Martin Brundle of Sky Sports F1 noticed Hamilton's seclusion during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and commented about it, saying, "That vehicle is full of drivers, and once more Lewis is sitting up front by himself. He came out early by himself and he doesn't mix with the other drivers. We don't think this is a good look at all." In an interview before the Italian Grand Prix, Hamilton admitted that he didn't have many close friends in the pit lane. When asked further about it, he said, "I'm here to work, not to have fun. I'm not here to chat excessively or be overly giddy. The championship is the only goal I have here." Well, that's putting it quite bluntly. If you also remember, he used to be tight with Nico Rosberg, but the two had a falling out. More recently, Lewis's ugly outburst during the 2022 Dutch Grand Prix was described as aggressive and insulting by former Formula 1 world champion Jacques Villeneuve. It started with the decision to pit George Russell and switch him to the quicker tyres while Hamilton was leading, and it infuriated the British driver like no other. Because of the manoeuvre, Max Verstappen of Red Bull was able to catch up to Hamilton and subsequently pass him to win the race. Lewis finished 4th and Russell whizzed past him to take 2nd place. The former champ had quite a public meltdown and went off on his team. Looking back at it, Villeneuve stated that his attitude is not befitting of a champion. You shouldn't be speaking to your team in that matter after everything they've done for you. In the end, Hamilton did apologise to his crew and declared that he still had 100% faith in them. But what's done is done. The truth is, this guy is a bit of a diva. Hamilton lives the life of a megastar and isn't afraid to flex about it. People generally don't like that, you know. He dresses in designer clothes and dates celebrities like Rihanna and Nicole Scherzinger. His lifestyle is pretty different from other drivers. In fact, Fernando Alonso once acknowledged that Lewis's way of life sets him apart from the other drivers. Getting some hints of Hollywood snobbery, are you? Well, you should. And if you've watched Lewis at all, you know he's always around his woman. Only recently, Lewis Hamilton and longtime performance coach Angela Cullen parted ways, and Nico Rosberg, a former teammate, thinks this could pose further issues for the Mercedes driver. Hamilton famously said that meeting her was one of the greatest things that happened to me in my life, and that they were pretty much living together, even getting matching wrist tattoos of the word loyalty as a sign of their commitment to one another. So it's no surprise that many people were shocked to learn that she quit her position to, quote, follow her dreams. Once the news was confirmed, Hamilton and Cullen both had only good things to say about one another in their parting remarks, but that didn't stop rumours of a falling out between the two. It was at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix where the Englishman finished 6th and the news of Cullen and Hamilton's separation broke. He posted a statement on Instagram confirming it, writing, "For the past 7 years, Angela has been at my side, pushing me to be the best version of myself. Thanks to her, I'm a better person and a stronger athlete. So today, I'm hoping you'll join me in sending her the best wishes for her future endeavours." Rift or manually deciding on parting ways? I don't know, you decide. In fact, can you? Post what you think in the comments, and let's find out what the majority of you really think. Nico is right though, this is a huge change, and I don't think it will be good, especially considering how Hamilton has struggled to get used to his Mercedes car this season, and the Englishman hasn't been quiet about his frustration. His difficulties have even given rise to rumours that he may be about to end his career soon. What's the matter? Diva can't stand not winning. The cherry on top of all of this is that his behaviour during press conferences and while veering off course hasn't been the best either. Compare his comments with those of Alonso, Vettel or Ricciardo, who despite losing, managed to crack a joke or display sarcasm or humour. Most of the time, Hamilton gives bland, uninteresting responses, and he often appears to be clueless of the actions of other drivers. Even though people appreciate Hamilton's efforts on the track, the way the media treated him largely shaped their opinion of him. In the start, nearly every week, a magazine would have a cover with Hamilton on it or a headline with him featured in it. Even though the English have a habit of supporting their own, as was the case when Button was succeeding, this was overwhelmingly shoved down our throats. Hamilton seemed to catch every media outlet's attention because he appeared on every 2007-8 season cover. He was overhyped to no end until the tides turned. Or just like the time when the world champion drew criticism from some journalists in the UK for using his phone during the news conference before the Japanese Grand Prix. Although he later admitted he'd been having fun and that his issue was with the press conference's format rather than the media, he had shared images of himself and Carlos Sainz to Snapchat during the press briefing with the caption, "This stuff is killing me." Quite rude, honestly. And to make things worse, he didn't do anything to fix it and only aggravated reporters further. If Hamilton hadn't brought it up again 2 days later, the incident probably would have been forgotten. But after watching Nico Rosberg win pole position by just 0.013 seconds, Hamilton made a statement to the media, including the reporters he felt had been disrespectful in their criticism of him using Snapchat. He then left the room without taking any questions. Wow, diva much. Anyway, let us know in the comments what you think about the 7-time world champion. And make sure you can like and subscribe for more. Until the next one, racing fans, this has been F1 Racing Now, your inside track to all things F1.